Hi everyone, so my name is Snow and today I'm gonna be sharing 3 steps that you need to do to be able to be fluent in speaking in English and having conversation with people in English without studying abroad, only in Japan. So if you are interested in that, you have to stay with me for a while because it's gonna be worth it. So the first I want to a little bit talk about myself, a self-introduction. So my name is Snow. I was born and raised in Japan. I originally from Tochigi Prefecture and I live in Tokyo now, and I was born and raised in a pretty rural countryside area of Japan because literally it needed like 40 minutes to even get to the nearest station from my home. So it's when I was little, like only riding on the bicycle was only my tool to widen my horizons. But when I was about to be a junior high school student, so when I was around 12 or 13, I met English. I got to know English as a language, which I didn't know before for the first time. So I was just watching a TV show of Japan, like it was a music station, and there were a bunch of musicians who were about to play their music, and one of them was Little Mix, who was the girls band from the UK, and they just debuted at that time, and they was about to perform on their stage, on their first stage in Japan. And I just randomly saw it. I didn't know about them at all, but I just for some reason I got to watch their performance, and I literally fell in love with them because that was the thing that I never saw I've never seen in my entire life at that moment, and it just hit me. I don't know I don't know any specific reason, but I just loved it, and that was it. Like I just knew that this is love feeling. This is something that I like about things. So that's how I started learning English by myself. And I just searched a lot because at that moment I didn't even have my own phone, so I just used my computer at home and searched for the way to be able to speak with them because I wanted to be friends with those British musicians, famous musicians. So that being able to have conversation with people in English was the whole goal for myself. So I searched on it, and what I've been finding was that you need to go study abroad at least for a year to be fluent in English, and or like you have to go to the extra school for that, or like you have to read a lot of books. And I think I pretty tested all of them by myself because English was like the priority for myself in my life at that moment. So even at school, I put every time that I had, like every energy that I had into studying English. So I handed in all of the homeworks at English classes, and also like I asked any questions that I had about English. I could have got a quite good score at the exams of English. I was seeing myself as going really well on the process, on the way to be able to fluent in English, to have conversation with people. And then when I was about to, I think that was around like 13 or 14, when I was in the 2nd grade at junior high school, I got a chance to go to New York and stay there for like 2 weeks as like, you know, the local program was exchanging students between the US and Japan. So I got in that program directly, and I got a chance to go to New York. That was my first time to even get out of Japan. So I was pretty excited, and I was super focusing on learning English. So I was actually pretty confident about my English. Like probably I'm gonna be like an interpreter with between those American friends and Japanese friends by my side, and like I'm gonna be so useful. I was so flattered and so excited. But it turned out a disaster. I literally could have said my name and just a short self-introduction, and that's all I could have exchanged with the people in New York in my host family, and that was super shocking because I think I already was spending 2 years of my life on studying English at mainly at Japanese school, Japanese junior high school, just normal public school. But in spending 2 years didn't make anything work out for myself, because what I wanted was being able to have conversation with people, being able to communicate with people in English. So that was like all of those things I couldn't have done at all, and that was super shocking for me. So when I got back to Japan, I just I rethought my ways to learn English as a communication tool, and then I met this like debating in English thing when I became a high school student, because there was a club activity for that. That was a Japanese in Tochigi Prefecture. That was a Japanese public normal school, but there was, and I just saw that would be a great chance for me, because all I wanted was actually practicing my English to be able to get used to speaking about something with people in English. So that was a great, I just thought that would be a great chance for me to make my dream come true. So I decided to join, and I spent around 2.5 years on just debating in English. And at first that was like a hell, super hard, super harsh, super tough for me. So like in the beginning, it's hard even to go into the classroom for the club activity, because I just knew that I would be so embarrassing. I couldn't say nothing in this 5 minutes, as even if I had to say something as one of the teammates to beat the another members on the another team. But I couldn't have done any of it, because that makes sense though, because I'd never had enough time for myself to actually use English, and trying to build some sentences in my head based on what I wanted to say. And I never done that before, and at Japanese school education we never do it. So I don't know about recently, but I never did it when I was in that school. That was pretty hard, but I made it. I didn't quit, and I started from this small step. Yes, let's try to keep talking for at least 5 seconds first, and then 10 seconds, 20 seconds, and then 1 minute, and so. And so that's how I have been doing, just the whole piling up of actually outputting English out of your mouth and out of your head, out of your brain, without preparing your speech script. So that's how I have been doing without long-term studying abroad. That's about me. And today I'm gonna be sharing 3 steps to be able to speak in English fluently, to be good enough to have conversation with people. Yes. So the first thing is grammar. And it's not just a grammar, but also a grammar especially for using in your conversation, in your outputting, in your outspeaking practice time. So the level of 中学英語 would be quite enough for having conversation with people, because that's what we use. That's the grammar rules, almost all of the grammar rules that we use in the conversation. So when it comes to grammar, if you have 中学英語 knowledge, that would be quite enough. And then, but even if you do realize that maybe you are understanding all of the 中学英語, those levels of grammars, but it's really hard to be able to output those and actually trying to utilize them into conversation, into building up your own sentence when you try to speak. So that's what we have to fix next. So the first of all, the trouble that you have, like feeling some difficulties to put some to actually use grammar rules into building up your sentences when you try to say something. So the solution that can fix that problem would be making 英語の English brain. So I think a lot of people are talking about 英語の and I think the definition of it would be very different depending on each one of them. So but my version of English no would be being able to think and build your sentences based on English grammar turns, you know, the turns that the words the turns of words of English when you build some context. So like when it comes to Japanese, we talk like 私は昨日動物園に友達と一緒に行きました。But when it comes to English, it changed into 私たちは行った昨日動物園に友達と一緒にそれは楽しかった。なぜなら私たちは食べたからすごく美味しいアイスクリームをそこで2回もみたいな。Like this, you know, like that. Like those turns of words and vocabularies are different between Japanese and English, right? So first step, you have to be able to get used to it. You need to get used to thinking up words, those turns of English as quickly as possible. So that's how you build English brain. And the third step then is that you consistently make time for yourself to actually use English and try to speak in English. And I think it sounds super difficult for you because I don't have anything. How do I even try to speak something in English? So you have to set a time and theme for yourself to practice English. So what I used to be doing when I was younger was that setting this kind of very light and fun topic for myself, like do I want chocolate or flowers on Valentine's Day, or like how was your day today, or like what is your future dream, or like what were you like when you were a kid. Like those very like light, but you have to think of your own contents topics. You set them and you set the time regulation it's needed to. So from my sense, the ideal amount of time would be 1 minute. If you can be able to speak about yourself, something about yourself from your eyes for 1 minute straight in English, then that could be quite enough for building up the conversation with people, because conversation is it's like throwing up balls to each other again and again. So it's not like making your own speech for 5 minutes, 10 minutes by yourself. It's super boring as a conversation, right? Because we want to exchange some information about ourselves, and it's all about exchanging one by one with each others, right? So you need to be able to do it. So for that, if you can speak about something for 1 minute fluently and like kind of quickly, I would say you starting from like 10 seconds first, or like 5 seconds if 10 seconds feels difficult for you, and then like trying to make sentences in that regulation of time. So, or like you can just rule yourself for like making at least 3 sentences for this topic or 5 sentences for this topic. So, but at least like if you do not practice your English, if you do not use English as speaking style, as talking style, you'll never be able to fluent in English, because there's no magical moments. It's all about this a small step and small things that you've tried every single day would make the whole conversation with people. So believe me, that I have been doing, and that I have been succeeding without long-term studying abroad. So just going to normal Japanese school. So believe me, that's how it's done. And also, like, if you this is one last thing, just one last tip. Like, if you feel like you are getting used to speaking for 1 minute straight about any topics by yourself, then like it's also needed to get used to hearing people's English, because the conversation is not about you speaking but also the other person speaking. So you have to just be able to catch what they're saying and trying to reply back to them. So hearing is also a assignment, right? So for that, there's two ways. So the first thing is that shadowing. Have you ever heard of it? Shadowing. It's like shadowing, like following what they're saying as a shadow. So like the way to do it is like you set like time, because you probably are busy and you cannot spend all of your time on practicing English. That refers to everyone, almost everyone, so don't worry about it. You just have to set 5 minutes for yourself and just find some videos or dramas or movies, everything. It's up to you. It can be your favorite, can be your taste. So you set something with subtitles of English, and if you feel like you need it, plus Japanese ones, and then trying to follow those subtitles and also like say it right after they are saying those lines or words. So I think it's not about correcting, like it's not about doing them correctly 100%, but also like if you can do it partially, it can be useful, because it's all about getting used to the sound of English, the sound of real English in the conversation. So and the real conversation. So if even partially, if you keep doing it, you I'm pretty sure that you can have a better result in the end. But stay consistent to it is a important tip. So don't quit. And also besides that, like 聞き流し thing would also be useful, because this is something that you don't have to be conscious about. You can be completely unconscious about it. Just background, as a background music, you can just let it play and play. Like what I have been doing, even what I do today, is that just putting on the YouTube and let them randomly, like those videos of interviews from the magazine Vogue or Elle, that's my favorite, just let them play and play. Just I leave them alone, and I'm hearing it unconsciously when I am whatever I am doing in my room alone, like as like playing some background music. But when it comes to music, I sometimes can't help myself following those lyrics and singing along with the songs. But when it comes to just people talking about something, it's really comfortable for my ears. So that's also what I do to make myself get used to English sound, like real English sound that could be used in the conversation. So that's how I have been doing. So if you are looking for a good way, you just should try it. And if you want to know the another and the greater and more like ways to be able to speak English and be able to fluent in English, please register my official line account. I'm pretty sure you can be receiving a good like the ways and some announcements from me directly. Yes, so thank you, bye.